March 11, 2024 lesson. The swing's better. You're turning through it, and something you can't see on video is your knowledge base is increased drastically. So you now can look at the swing, and then you can have the oh sheet moment because you now know what the motto swing looks like, which is great progress. I mean, that's like step one. So the one on the right is what we started with. So hold your breath. Okay, so it gets off plane in a couple places and kind of whips down. So in reality, take the club, throw it away, get it perfectly on plane here. You know, the week before you're stopping it at that point, but this point, now watch the butt of the club. Oop. So this is kind of old programming, not as bad as it was, but bad enough to sink the ship. Now the thing is pointed straight down at the ground instead of above the ball. So in this case, if you'd use that little lifeline, that little T in the butt, you'd see that it's pointed, you know, this direction, and we want it pointed over the target line, the extended target line, right? So now what you do is sometimes you'll be able to hit well if you get that thing laid down. So in the middle of the swing, you've got to go. You know, when the club is starting to gain velocity, you have to go from this red line to that line in the middle of the swing. So swing, you have to go, the shaft has to go from that red line to that blue line, and if you don't lay it down enough, you'll continue to hit it left or fat. If you lay it down too much, you know, you can push it right. So you know, therein lies the problem with that super steepness. Anyway, so then you come down, and you know, the good news is it ends up, you know, overshadowed, which is good. So you'll be able to push this ball, which is a good air, but a lot of commotion getting there, right? You can't time it, can't repeat it easily, and you know, in the middle of it, you've got the butt coming away from the back wall. So we worked with it, with the swing for a bit, and we got it cut down and found out that if you swing at 10% speed, then you hit most of the right spots, okay? So way better swing. So there's an element of ball consciousness that's like with outcome, with an outcome introducing some consequence when there's ball there, and it changes your swing. So good thing to practice is this, you know, 10% speed. Look at it in the mirror, see what's going on. So what we did was we ended up with this swing on the right at the last of, after doing several little drills. And so we ended up with this swing. And let me just play this thing through. Now, we have to give you credit that your mind is really cluttered, but even if it's cluttered, you're hitting pretty good spots. The back swing is good, and you can see how the hands are dropping, okay? So see how the hands are dropping, and you end up with on your forearm, just under your forearm, which is a good player's error, so you'll end up pushing it. Your air is pushing it, and you know, exit through there, good spine angle, good shoulder tilt at that point, and all. So then looking at it what's making this thing hard to duplicate and is this takeaway, which where you lose connection. Okay, and remember, if you hold your hand straight out here and rotate your shoulders, the butt of the club will arc nicely inside. But see, even with this controlled, almost posing at a slow motion swing, your hands, the butt of the club is now here, and it started here, right? So, you know, that little gap there between your pec and you know, bicep, you know, it's a loosey-goosey thing, and you know, we need to fix it. So let me put this on. Here's Morikawa. The angle is a little goofy, but is not quite what it should be. But you can see how the butt of the club, you know, he just, see how it rotates inside on a short arc, and if the angle is right, you'd see this. You know, the butt of the club is pointed at his body. You know, so that's what we need to fix, because it's just making the swing more difficult than it needs to do. Now, looking at the actual swing itself, okay, way better position at the top. So you fix that, which is excellent. And I like this top position of you're airing the armpit, but the elbow is pointed straight down, and that forearm is almost vertical, which is really good. You have good depth. The left arm is right on plane. The shaft's right on plane. So you don't need any major shallowing. We just need to drop your hands, which you do a nice job. Here's the problem with the swing, and it's in your real swing. So the number one thing is we got to get this thing on the forearm, which you do in this case. But let's see how we're doing it. So we get here, and then sure enough, if you just watch the downs, you're dropping the hands nicely. Okay, that's fine. But what's happening is you're artificially doing it. You're raising the left shoulder straight up like this, which means the right one goes down. So you're not really rotating. You're just changing the tilt. See that? Now let's look at Scott. So he takes the club up. Now look at his left shoulder. See that left shoulder? It goes from here. Well, here it actually goes down, and you know that's what I'm saying. Kind of digs in the ground, and even at this point, it's lower than the right shoulder, and his hands are, you know, almost belt high. Look at your shoulders. You just kind of spin out. See how that left shoulder goes up? So that left shoulder is higher than the right immediately. Okay, and the swing just doesn't work that way. And that's, you know. So I like the hand drop, but as they drop, that left shoulder should not get higher. You should be able to just drop them with that left shoulder being lower. You know what I mean? So, you know, you've done a nice job of getting it on your forearm over shallowed out, but it's been kind of manufactured by a goofball move. Okay, so you got to do that arm over, that club over your shoulders, and you know that downswing, that transition. That left shoulder still should be under your chin. You know, as I said, that's kind of like a gun sight.